Superman, directed by Richard Donner, starring Christopher Reeve, Gene Hackman, and Marlon Brando, who at this point in his career was well into the phase where he no longer gave a fuck. The film was pretty much the first ever serious attempt at adapting comic book superheroes to the screen. Previously, we had television shows for Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, even, but they were fairly silly and comedic and low budget and so on. Whereas Superman, the movie, while still quite campy and full of humor, was done much more seriously in general. I'd really divide the film into two portions in my mind to kind of explain it better. The first half, of, or maybe even two-thirds, are the Superman origin story. We learn about the destruction of Krypton, see young Kal-El being adopted by the Kent family, and also adopting the name Clark Kent. He grows up, leaves the house, establishes the Fortress of Solitude, and learns about his powers in the universe. And then, as an adult, he moves to Metropolis to work at a newspaper, while also doing superheroics, stopping robberies, saving people from plane crashes, and so on. This part of the film is pretty damn good. It has a nice flow to it, it's well scored, with music from John Williams that kind of resembles his work on Star Wars just a year prior. It's well acted, with maybe the exception of Brando, and honestly does a terrific job of quickly establishing Superman as a character. Remember that at this point in time, he wasn't yet the pop culture staple that he is now. There were people who didn't know what he was about. And the film takes its time to really paint a full picture of both Superman and Clark Kent, which, by the way, it has been a running joke for decades now that it's ridiculous that anybody would not recognize that Clark is Superman, not made a connection that they're the same person. But when you look at Reeves' acting, the different ways he speaks, carries himself, looks around even, depending on whether he's in costume or not, I really began to believe that. He really is like two different people depending on the clothes that he's wearing. So this part of the film is quite cool. However, the movie then decides that it kind of needs an exciting third act to conclude it, and so establishes Lex Luthor and his evil plan. Now, Lex in comic books is typically a cold, intelligent, calculating guy, one of the more iconic Superman villains. But in here, he's extremely campy and over the top, and kind of a slapstick villain, even if I'm being honest, which is all the more surprising since he's played by Gene Hackman, an otherwise rather serious and accomplished actor. In any case, both the character of Luthor and the plan he's executing are quite dumb, and so by extension, so is the whole sequence where Superman has to save the day. I think as the movie progresses into the final act, I liked it less and less, and at the end of the day, I'd say it evens out. It's fairly average on the whole, but it definitely is a product of its time, and so it's really difficult to honestly appreciate the movie today because so many elements of it have aged out and are now completely ridiculous. So I'd put it like this: it isn't a movie that's necessarily worth revisiting now, but it should hold a special place in movie making history, if anything else, if nothing else, for the simple fact that it was a pioneer in the superhero genre, which now in the 21st century has pretty much been dominating the box office. And also, to be honest, it does have a lot of heart in the right place, and Christopher Reeve embodies the character very, very well.